Going live.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Will Smith Show, where we talk about all Will Smith all the time here on Will TV.
The media maybe forgotten about the punch, but we never will. And it was a punch. It wasn't a slap, but we'll get into that. That's Kenny Lane. I'm sorry.
Punched him.
He punched it. What?
I was thinking of the Amber Heard trial.
Oh, right.
I'm so confused with all my.
We're gonna tackle that as well.
Oh boy, we got a lot to go after this week. Yeah, big time. All right.
Slap, the Heard dep, everything. As I stepped all over you, you're Kenny Lane.
Kenny Lane. This is Buddies on Buddies, the show of two real life buddies talking about buddy action comedy movies
and real life serious topics.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Lucas Hill.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah.
All right. So should we just get right into it?
First, a brief history of who we are. We both went to Arizona State University School of Journalism, where we practice on-camera personas, speaking with us, saying and and now we're just really putting it into good use. Kenny, what was your internship after you got out of the program?
The Chicago Tribune? No, that's all lies. No, we met like years ago in a bathroom at a seedy part of town, and I offered to, jerk the punk off here. For $5.
Come on! What are you doing, Norm Macdonald bits now? Come on.
Sure, why not? He's dead. I can
yeah, it's all free game. What's he gonna sue me?
It's all free game. What's he gonna get up out of his grave and strangle me?
Probably not. No.
Probably not. No.
What a week, huh?
What a week, man. Did you see anything this week?
I've been watching the basketball a lot, so I haven't watched as much as I normally would have.
Yeah.
The Suns are in the playoffs. I watched them play tonight. All that good stuff. They won, luckily. What have you seen? I can't really think of anything. We've been watching a lot of Seinfeld, but I think I've mentioned that before. It's a funny show. Seinfeld's a funny show.
Wow, really holds up. I've never heard that from anybody. Yeah,
no one likes it.
You recommend it?
I
haven't decided to tune in. Maybe I will now that you've told
me. Well, in all honesty, it's on Netflix, so you can just watch it now, and that's pretty magical. And we've been watching it through. It's great. Such a funny show.
I just skipped to the last night's season because that's when it gets really fucking weird. And
it does
when I like it. Yeah.
And I remember we had this conversation because we're on the 9th season now, and I do like a lot of it. The game show episode or the late night talk show episode where he has all the
Merv Griffin one. Yeah.
God, that is the funniest episode. That is so fucking funny.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Did I talk about For the Love of the Game last time? I think I did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So I haven't seen a movie since then.
I watched a bunch of movies this week. I watched Jackass 4 or Jackass Forever. It's not really even worth reviewing because it's like if you're a fan of Jackass, you'll like it. If you're not a fan of Jackass by now, then there's no point in seeing it. But yeah, Megan and I saw it. We laughed a lot, and I saw that in Belfast. That was a good double feature.
Do you like Belfast? Yeah. That is a very interesting double feature.
Yeah. I'm not too sure other people have done that double feature, but Belfast is good. It's one of those kind of perfectly respectable, Oscar-nominated movies. It's obviously a very personal movie for Kenneth Branagh about growing up in Belfast, Ireland in the late 60s when all that shit was going down. It's in black and white. It's perfectly fine. It didn't really get me on an emotional level at all. I thought, I wasn't really that moved, I guess. It was perfectly respectable. Nothing wrong with it. It's just, it just didn't really hit me. So I don't know.
Is it kind of like a slice of life, or is it like a full blown?
It's kind of like I see a little trend here with directors, like that movie Roma with Alfonso Cuarón, came out, and like even Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino, like these directors are going back to like their childhood towns to make a movie about that time era, that thing. So it's kind of one of the little mini subgenre there going on, but I didn't really find it that compelling, I guess.
They always say like write about your perspective and everything, and mine is so lame. My childhood would be playing video games in a room.
Yeah.
And doing nothing else.
You could always turn it into something, I guess, or make it, Tarantino's he wasn't two stunt guys. It wasn't any of that shit. It was just the town where he lived in the 60s,
Yeah, I'm no Tarantino, but also I'm already sick of '90s nostalgia, and it hasn't even really started yet. You know,
Oh
the
yeah,
the '80s
yeah,
nostalgia, they beat it to death, and '90s is
yeah,
coming
yeah.
hard and fast. There've already been hints of it sprinkled throughout some
Oh
shows and
great.
media and some screenplays I've had to
Yeah.
read. I'm like, it's just gonna hit hard. It's gonna hit
Gonna
hard.
hit hard. Well, I did watch one other '90s movie besides. I guess we should talk about Bad Boys as a movie we're covering this week. The from 1995, directed by Michael Bay, Will Smith, Martin Lawrence. Pretty famous one. Most people have heard of this one. I would assume anyway. But the other '90s movie I watched was Eight Heads in a Duffel Bag.
Joe Pesci, yeah.
The Joe Pesci movie. Did you ever see that?
I did when it came out because it was riding the Quentin Tarantino coattails. Like, oh, we have to do,
Yeah.
and it with how does it stand up? Because I remember being very underwhelmed
Well,
when I saw it.
I'd never seen it, and I was just curious about it. Megan picked it up at a VHS box, for like a dime, and we watched it. It was, Joe Pesci, a big Joe Pesci fan. Kind of made me miss him. He's only been in 2 movies in the past 20 years, and he was doing all kinds of shit in the '90s, like this and Gone Fishing, and all these other really shitty movies.
What
So
was the one where
I
he's
think,
the landlord?
oh, the Super,
Yeah.
yeah. So he would do anything back then. I think what happened was I think he knew he was a hot, like character actors get hot for a little bit too. So I think he just like struck while the iron was hot and just started taking all the star roles, all the big paychecks, and then just finally just cashed out. Said, okay, I'm only doing like Martin Scorsese movies from now on, or I'll only do one movie every decade or something. But the movie was pretty shitty. It's kind of like what you said. We're talking about some of their torture scene. You're like, I'm used to seeing Joe Pesci put guys, at head in a vice, and this time he's like snapping a towel on David Spade, who's in his underwear on a bed, torturing him that way. So I was like, this is a goddamn shame. You were putting people's heads in vices. Now you're snapping, underwear David Spade.
The shame is they waste those two talents coming on screen together
Yeah, yeah.
for that.
It's a pretty bad movie, but one curious thing about it though, I don't know, it was a screener back in the late '90s. They would send these to video stores. It came out like a month ahead, and it was like, why you should talk to your staff and about buying this movie, because they wanted you to buy a bunch of copies. It was just for video stores. This was the copy I had. And it was kind of funny at the beginning. It's like it builds up the movie you're going to see. It's like 8 million. It made over 4 million at the box office. It's like 4 million. That's nothing. Like, I don't know who saw that. I was like, wow, 4 million. But they had this number that pop up every once in a while. It was like, if you bought this movie, call 1-800 blah blah blah. And, report whoever sold it to you. And we called it. And just rang and rang, nothing happened because I'm sure it doesn't exist anymore. But Megan,
you don't think there's like a Jodie Foster out there, like contacts going?
Contact, yeah. We got someone's trying to rip off your heads in a duffel bag. Yeah, well, not to go on and on, but then I was bummed out that no one picked up. But then Megan told me, did you know there's a Hall & Oates emergency hotline? I was like, what is that? She said, you call up, it's like you've reached the Hall & Oates emergency hotline. Press 1 for rich girl. Press 2 for private eyes. So I called out. That works. And if you guys want the number, it's 719-266-2837. The Hall & Oates, emergency hotline. So
great. That's a lot of a lot of good information.
yeah, a lot. Really got a lot this week.
So what do you think about Bad Boys, the movie we watched this week, the huge 1995 smash, Michael Bay's first
Bad
movie?
Boys. Yeah.
You want to do the plot?
The plot summary. Okay, so there's a bunch of drugs at this police station. Elite crew breaks in and steals all like the $100 million worth of drugs out of this police station, and basically the internal affairs thinks it's an inside job. Someone was, from the inside, did it. And so the captain assigns these two young detectives, the bad boys, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. They get 5 days to catch the guys, or else, the internal affairs is going to come in and shut this whole precinct down. And so that's the jump off for this movie that did not start out. I think the way it came out, I don't know if you like.
No, we'll get into
production notes and stuff, but yeah.
Just what did you think generally?
I think again, kind of when I saw it when I was like 13, I was watching I was a big movie kid. I was watching stuff probably out of my, age range or whatever, like, from a young age. So by the time I turned like 13, I was always already kind of a movie snob. And I remember getting really stoked for Bad Boys and sitting there just kind of like, this is kind of, it's okay. But it's kind of how I felt now. I think but it's weird though. It's almost now I have like nostalgia for movies I didn't even like that much back then. It's like, oh yeah, Bad Boys. So I went and saw Bad Boys 3. You know, it's like, yeah, Bad Boys 3, cool. So yeah, I think the star power elevates it a lot. Michael Bay's direction, I think, elevates it a lot, even though
You can
it's some
totally
really
see.
stupid. Yeah.
Sorry, I
Go ahead.
just didn't mean to interrupt you, but as his first movie, you can totally see why he has a huge Hollywood career, especially reading
Mhm.
what small budget he had and what he had to do to get the
Right.
shots he got, what he pulled off on such a low budget. Of course, you'd
Right.
hire him for anything, and it's worked out for him and the studios that have hired him. He's made a shit ton of money in Hollywood, and he's one of the most money-making Hollywood directors of all time.
Of all time. Yeah. I mean, you know, did the Transformer movies and The Rock and all that kind of stuff. But there were like a lot of I think this movie made me unintentionally laugh more than intentionally laugh. I didn't really laugh that much. But there is some, you know, signature Michael Bay dumbass fucking moments and lines and, you know, oh, Jesus, you know, that kind of stuff.
So did this come out before Training Day, or sorry, Independence Day, or after it?
This came out before. This was basically like Martin Lawrence was on, you know, Martin and Will Smith was on Fresh Prince. And this was like the kind of their big screen. I mean, they'd been in movies before that. Like Martin Lawrence had a small part in House Party and Will Smith was like 6 Degrees of Separation and stuff. But this is kind of like their big, you know, starring movie.
Blockbuster.
So,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it kind of launched their movie careers anyway.
So before we go in more to this, you wanted to get into the history of this project that has been around. It was in Hollywood for almost a decade before it was released.
Yeah, well, when I talked about the plot, I started when I looked into like the making of it and stuff. I bet you saw that this was originally developed for John Lovitz and Dana Carvey,
Mhm.
and it's hard to imagine these guys in this movie in those roles. But I wonder when they bought the script, since the movie obviously changed so much.
The original
Like, what
script was
about the
written by
script?
2 Saturday Night Live writers too, ex-Saturday Night Live
Okay,
writers.
yeah. So I'm sure this probably movie does not resemble their script at all, but I bet the studio paid a lot of money for that script. So it's got me thinking of like what, you know, like scripts that they pay all this money for that basically everything was changed by the time the movie came out.
And it's funny because I bet the script was pretty fucking funny, written by these people. The studios
Maybe.
decided, Dana Carvey, John Lovitz attached.
Yeah.
They get Michael Bay, who was going to do it. And I'm sure
Yeah.
you read this trivia. He went to Vegas to meet Dana Carvey
Don
and
Simpson.
Don Simpson.
Don Simpson, yeah.
Is that the Dom Simpson from the
Simpson Bruckheimer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, who's the one from the book we read about Quentin Tarantino writing and the production of?
Oh, that's not the same guy.
Yeah.
That guy went on to like produce Transformers and stuff. But no, Don Simpson was half of the Simpson Bruckheimer team that made, you know, Top Gun and Beverly Hills Cop and Days of Thunder and stuff. And he was considered like one of the Hollywood producers in the 90s, along with Bruckheimer. Bruckheimer went on to do like, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean and all sort of stuff by himself. But Don Simpson, they say, it was like John Peters, but worse. Like he was just completely out of control, madman, Hollywood, coked out, just, you know, psycho.
And when Dana
screamer.
Carvey met him, he scared the fuck out of him. So Dana Carvey dropped out, and the project went into turnaround.
Yeah, they ended up ending their partnership, I think, right after this. I think it was in the middle of making The Rock, but it was within a year of this movie coming out. The Simpson Bruckheimer team broke up, and then Don Simpson basically OD'd at his house. And, you know, so this is kind of probably the last finished movie that he produced that he probably saw, or maybe Crimson Tide. Well, anyway, it was right one of his last movies, basically.
What a legend, right?
Yeah. I've heard lots of crazy stories about Don Simpson. Well, when was it like he told one guy's like, at 2:00, my favorite thing, the part of the day, I just call up a writer and yell at him. that was his favorite part of the day. And I remember reading an interview with him I saw one time, and he was like, you know,
it's funny because at 2:00, my favorite part of the day is going downstairs and yelling at my wife for no reason.
Wife, there you go. Yeah, you're kindred spirits. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he also said like in one like interview, he's like, you might not believe this, but I was not the coolest guy in my high school. In fact, I was a bit of a wallflower. But you know what? Like the 20th reunion up in, you know, I think he's actually from Washington State. He's like, I flew in on a helicopter. I had 2 penthouse pets on each, you know, one on each arm. And we walked in and everyone was just like, oh, awesome. They couldn't believe it was me. And I was like, I know this story is, you know, supposed to impress me, but it just seems like you got a loser. yeah. I was like, why would you even have a second thought about high school if you're rich, you know, super rich Hollywood producer. But anyway.
I'm a complete loser and have no interest in going to my high school reunion.
High school reunion. Yeah, I wasn't even that unpopular, I don't think, anyway. I mean, people might like, argue that, but like, yeah, I still don't have any. I think with all social media stuff, like high school reunions, I think are kind of obsolete.
Good for him. So yeah, the project went through a lot of troubles. Michael Bay got attached. Notoriously hated the screenplay. So he had Will Smith and Martin Lawrence do a lot of improvisation. Look, I'm not a movie historian. All this shit is IMDb after I watched the movie.
Sure. I mean Wikipedia, but whatever.
At least you don't have to do it if you're listening or watching.
Right.
I thought Michael Bay directed the fuck out of this movie from a commercial.
He did it really. Yeah, it's very impressive. He really directed it. Only thing, did you find this movie funny? I mean, it is like this is one of the buddy action comedy, and do you find the banter between the two leads amusing at all?
I wouldn't say it's funny and not laugh out loud. I would say it's agreeable. They do have chemistry. It's not. There aren't a lot of jokes that are just like painful or anything like that. Like, would I say it's like funny? I don't know. I really wish I could travel through worlds in different dimensions so I could watch the Dana Carvey, John Lovitz version of this directed by Michael Bay, because Michael Bay was still attached when they were in it. Right?
Yeah, they did like a read through or something too.
That would have been amazing.
Well, we'll never know.
I want to see John Lovitz running through the street during that chase scene with his shirt unbuttoned.
Shirt off. I don't think it'd be anything like what we ended up seeing.
Pigeons flying away and shit.
Well, both Dana Carvey and John Lovitz had played cops before in other movies. Like John Lovitz did in that super bizarre Southland Tales movie, which is he's actually pretty convincing, like racist cop. And Dana Carvey was a cop in that bad kind of movie called Tough Guys. But so it would have been totally different, obviously, with those two leads. But I thought, I like Martin Lawrence. I wouldn't really say I'm a Martin Lawrence fan. I've never really found him that funny. He's just not one of my favorite comics. I just don't really. I remember seeing like Run Tell Dat like years ago and just kind of scratching my head why all the audience members were just rolling in the aisles and stuff.
Well, you're a racist. You're a racist white man.
Wow, I'm shocked that you went there. Oh, wow. But I don't like any other black comics, not Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock or any of them. I just don't like Martin Lawrence. Will Smith, I think, is kind of funny. Like, when he's Fresh Prince or something. I like that when I was 10 or whatever, but I wouldn't say he's like a real comedian or anything. Just, the banter was okay.
Actor and performer, not a comedian. But what is that? No, the banter is pretty good, especially considering when you find out they made up a lot of it on the days of shooting or before, because Michael Bay hated the script so much.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's fine, but like I remember a kid, like when I was like 13 or whatever, when it came out, he was telling me like it has this hilarious moment in the movie. And I was like, what moment? He's like, they're like walking to a house and he goes,
wait, who told you this?
A 13-year-old kid when I was 13.
Okay, I was just trying to. Sorry,
let's call him Brian.
Okay,
I don't remember his name, but there's a Brian from school. He was saying, like, hey, it has this hilarious, moment in it. Are you with me still?
Yeah, I'm trying. Keep going though.
Okay. And he goes, one of them looks over the other one and says, "Hey man, you fart." Yeah, that's the hilarious moment. I think that's basically like the level of,
You should do a podcast with Brian because he sounds hilarious.
Yeah, he was really amused by that line. So when I see this movie, that's part. I see him just rolling on the floor laughing. Just I can't believe they went there. Hey man, you fart.
I don't even remember that. Was that in the movie?
That's in the movie when they're walking into, and then they look at each other and they go, "No, did you?" And he's like, they look, "Oh, dead guy," and then they like walk.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's actually
you were probably laughing still from "Hey man, you fart." That you could you're wiping away the tears, and the next scene came on. You were just like you just didn't even get the last part.
I was probably looking at my phone. Yeah,
probably. Is that what you're doing right now?
It's actually pretty well plotted for a movie of this nature. It's okay. I like the idea that the police were robbed. There's an inside thing. All the leads. They have to switch sides. We have the set piece where the family man has to pretend like he's a playboy and living with a prostitute or wherever the fuck they are. Girls who go to parties for a lot of money, but they're not prostitutes.
They're not prostitutes, but they're prostitutes. Yeah, I didn't get that either. That leads to some really crazy misunderstanding. When Martin Lawrence has to pose as Will Smith's character, go to Will Smith's house, and she sees all the pictures of Will Smith around, and they says, like, is that your lover? He's like, what? No, like some gay panic stuff from Martin Lawrence. But do you have just pictures of yourself all over your apartment? Who does?
I know my wife made me take them down, but I did.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
I did.
You did?
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I was having a good time.
I see. Yeah.
But I will say this: the homophobia, the sexism, the way women characters are treated. Michael Bay got
Lucas Feliz, you're busted.
Michael Bay got far worse as he's progressing his career. He's gotten more
it didn't get any
more
better.
sexist. It's insane. I was expecting to be really crazy. He's way more controlled in this one, even though it was older. He could have done a lot more.
Well, he wanted to put his best foot forward for his first movie. It's like, I'll tone it down this time, but wait till they give me more control.
But 95, no one gave a shit. He could have gone ham with the homophobia.
Yeah, he could have gone ham, but
no, I'm restrained. Then he gets the free reign. I do want to say that what is with these nightclubs and these buddy comedy action movies?
I can almost like your cookie cutter you reviewed is so many now. You're like this sexist, racist, and what's with the nightclubs? I feel like you've given this same review like 3 times, but they're basically the same movie. So
it's fucking weird. Yeah. Do they just? Is there a check sheet they go down? Checklist? Like we need that.
Well, yeah,
we need that.
The 80s, it was like the bar fight, maybe that just moved into like the nightclub. Like, okay, can't be just a country bar. It's got to be like a nightclub or something,
So many of these movies, they go to this insane nightclub that couldn't possibly exist. There's not that much space in an urban environment to have a giant nightclub with this many people in it. There's no
everyone's dancing everywhere. Like on the top of the bar, everyone's just like there's beautiful women.
Like people are swinging around.
Yeah, like on a giant swing, and
some guy has wings and he's flying across.
Well, maybe it's in Miami. I don't know. I've never been to Miami. That's how it goes down there,
But they've had other ones that takes place in Tucson, and it's the same fucking shit. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. So Joe Pantoliano, Joey Pants as the captain, I thought he was pretty good. He always is a solid performance. Great toupee. He had a fantastic toupee in this.
Toupee, I didn't pay attention to. I have a perfect head of hair, so I just assume everybody does. So I never clock them.
Well, not me. So I'm always fucking clocking that shit. I'm obsessed with hairlines now, especially in movies. But especially if I know they're bald, and they're wearing a toupee, I really lock in. Like, I know what you're doing, Sean Connery. You can't fool me.
You bald motherfucker. I know what
you're doing.
Yeah. I did know Joey Pants. He's the tropey, mad as hell captain.
Yeah.
But he does it with the level of humanity. He likes these guys, and you can tell. And he wants the job done. He's just an angry guy. He's wound too tight. But he never asked for their badge or anything like that. He's just giving them shit. And then he has this real humanity to it because he's such a good actor. I think any other actor, it wouldn't come across. He would have just
he had a very cliched role, but he did a little something with it. He's always a solid actor, so it's always good to see him in there. The score, I really liked the score. That talking about the other movie shot, just looks and stuff. That just that concept, bow, 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 bow. Like that's great. As far as a lot of these, buddy action comedies, they have the music's fucking terrible. The score is awful, but this one I thought had a really cool pumping theme.
It was good. You can see the fucking I mean, I've already done it. Whatever. Wait till I go through my likes. That's gonna be hard. The bones of Michael Bay's fast cuts. It's all here. You can see the bones of what he's gonna become. Before he becomes what he is now, which is
I think it totally feels like a Michael Bay movie, like from right from the start. Like it's like this is just exactly his style. It wasn't like, he really, started with this small movie and then went to this way, even though it was a much smaller budget than like a Transformers movie or something like that. But I mean, his style is all over this movie. I think he is a big reason this movie, I think, was such a surprise hit. They didn't expect it to do very well.
He's the reason, and not to
think so. Well,
I mean, the stars are great. So you have Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and they're great. But of course, it was his idea to have them improvise all this shit beforehand. Any other director could have stuck to the script, and the script to pedal back a little bit with the comedic set pieces with him pretending to be the playboy, the family man, while the playboy has to go and live with the family. That's the Dana Carvey, John Lovett screenplay coming through.
Yeah.
You can see all those comedic set pieces.
So John
Bad
Lovitz
Boys never
the,
does. I don't know.
The Martin is John Lovitz the
I've
Martin
thought
Lawrence
about
character.
that. I think Dana Carvey would have to be the playboy, but I
think he had to be the ladies' man. I don't know. Well, it might have been great with John Lovitz being the ladies' man, with pictures of himself everywhere.
Yeah.
I think we're more into the concept of John Lovitz and Dana Carvey as a imaginary Bad Boys movie than the actual Bad Boys movies. Which because we're racist and
we like white men in our movies. That's
we like white men in our movies, and we throw up if we see anybody else.
Can't stand it.
Can't stand it. Well, I will say that it is kind of cool though that it was the first time it was two black guys.
Do you remember
on screen,
when you were like Menace to Society would have been way better if the Rat Pack were in it, or Brat Pack were in it? Do you remember that?
The Brat Pack with Anthony Michael Hall as Loke Dog, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they blew a great opportunity to connect with me.
You said the same thing about Belly.
Did I? Yeah, remember when you wanted New Jack City to be New Cracker City? Where's
Jeff Goldblum in this movie? That's all I want to know.
yeah. Where's Jeff Daniels for that matter? He would have been a way better Nino Brown. Was Kevin Kline busy? They got Wesley Snipes? Like, what?
Kevin Kline and Jeff Daniels. Oh, what were you saying before I interrupted you with my?
Oh yeah, with your
racism.
Great racism, yeah. Well, it was kind of neat that this is like two black guys. It wasn't one's a white button down guy, another guy's a there's been two black partners before on screen, like all the way back to Cotton Comes to Harlem and stuff, but like at the time it was abnormal for it to be two black guys. Always like Denzel Washington, Gene Hackman, Crimson Tide, or Mel Gibson, Danny Glover. So that's kind of neat as far as like just that was the first like big blockbuster movie, which is like just starring two black guys.
I agree, and the only difference was one's a family man, one's not, and also they've known each other their entire lives and are best friends. So they have that, because most of the buddy cop movies they're thrown together and don't want to be together. These guys have been friends for their entire lives.
Yeah,
so that was an interesting angle too.
Yeah, they definitely do feel like partners in this movie, Will Smith and Marlon. But I never bought them as cops, and they have played cops in other movies, but I didn't buy the Bad Boys as actual police officers, like at all. I didn't see any sort of like.
It's more of a fantasy.
Yeah.
Even the
I know, but just
partners they mess with, the warehouse that the cops all work in with the high ceilings.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy cop movie land. It was never supposed to be.
It gets really silly too. It's like, hey, there's always the other rival partners. There's a little bit of that like stakeout and stuff. There's another team where they always like insulting each other when they run into it. And at the end, it's like, hey, it's a big shootout. You want to come? Shit might get you killed. It's like, we're on it. Like there's a lot of stupid shit like that. The end, the action that was pretty cool. I did like the big, airplane hangar, explosions, shootout thing. That was pretty fun. So yeah. Well, what do you think? Well, what would you like give Bad Boys? Like,
well, hold on. I'm not even done talking about Bad Boys yet, my friend.
Oh shit. Let's keep going.
We're gonna keep going. First of all, Chrissy was in it. So we had Chrissy and Joey Pants. We had two Sopranos alums. I was surprised to see him.
Yeah.
He played a completely different character. I thought he actually did a really good job as I'm a Soprano.
It's like one scene.
Yeah. He has two scenes.
Yeah.
But I think he plays the kind of meek, but he's lying character really well.
Yeah. The Huggy Bear role where he's like, I'm not going to rat on anybody, but I'll tell you this.
Guy.
Yeah.
It was great. I love the henchmen in this. They all have a little something.
Yeah.
So they're not just faceless. They all have a little something. I love the big mob character henchman, the guy who can't run, the white hair. Another when someone gets shot, like Tango and Cash, he falls back into this electricity and just like like that. And then he gets lit on fire right after that. He gets shot with the shotgun. It's a different guy. He gets electrocuted.
It's fire. It blows out. The back.
And then fires another guy. But he has the best line. To that. Tay Leone's itching her or trying to do the thing, get the key out of her
Oh
bra. He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"You want me to itch that for you?" She goes, "Itch this. I'll itch you anything you want, you blue-eyed bitch." The
Yeah.
deadpan delivery of that made me laugh
He
out
said it
loud.
pretty cold too. Yeah, yeah.
It's fucked up.
I would say that is probably maybe offensive, maybe good, but I'll try to one up you with the opening line, with the opening scene anyway, when the bad boys get attempted carjacked, which was a scene they shot later because it's one of those tacked on opening scenes. But they have this beautiful woman trying to walk in front of the car to distract them, and then two guys sneak up with guns, like, okay, out of the car. But the bad guy tells him to go distract the bad boys. He goes, "Hey, go titty titty, strutty strutty." Go titty titty, strutty strutty. And then, go ahead.
No, keep going.
And then I liked, that's Kim Koteas is the guy, the actor. This one little part here. He's like a bit of character in a ton of things. Yeah. But then when the bad boys tell them, "Well, I got bad news for you guys. We're cops," and then Kim Koteas says, "Yeah, and I'm a stand-up comedian, and I suck." He really hits, and I suck.
It's also
while he's holding a gun on them,
I turned. My wife doesn't watch this with me, but I turned to her and I go, "What does that even mean?"
I think
what is the joke there?
Well, you're a cop. Well, I'm an astronaut. I think it's just one of those, but I don't know. I'm a
it doesn't compute
for
me.
Suck.
You're a cop. I'm an astronaut. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You're a cop. Well, I'm a stand-up comedian. Okay, fine, but then why say I suck? You're a cop. Well, I'm an astronaut, but I'm not a good astronaut.
Yeah.
I get my other astronauts killed all the time.
I wish I could continue with stand-up comedy just so I could tell that people ask me what I did for a living. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I suck.
I kind of believe he was a stand-up comedian at some point, and it just hasn't gone anywhere.
That was an ad lib, and he just wanted to throw something in from real life. Yeah.
Why didn't they just? Okay. Sorry, no, you're first.
With Michael Bay, what is his obsession with orange and blue? Every scene is either orange or blue, and it goes all the way through Transformers and everything. Have you noticed that? It's
it comes from his
really into orange blue.
I'm sure it comes from his commercial directing past. So they probably know what colors through tests and surveys and everything.
Probably, yeah. Orange makes us want to spend money and grabs your attention. Blue makes you feel confident. Yeah,
that's my uneducated guess.
Yeah, but I'm just that is just, he's really into that. I think a lot of movies actually copied his style too, and he came after Armageddon and stuff. Yeah,
he gets a lot of shit, deservedly so. He's made a shit ton of horrible movies, but they've made money, and he's influenced a lot of directors.
Sure,
a lot. Why didn't they just kill Julie instead of kidnapping her and keeping her for the finale? They've been trying to kill her. They get her. They take her with them. Why not just put a bullet in her head and get the fuck out of there?
Because they need a damsel in distress.
Yeah, I know. I know that's the movie logic, but what's the real logic? Is it ever justified why they?
Where's the story logic in that? I don't think there's really any story logic other than just keep her around as collateral or something. They say, but it never makes sense when they just want to not kill somebody just because so they can have the protagonist can come rescue them.
That's what I was afraid of. I thought I missed something. Yeah. So you asked me earlier what I think about Bad Boys, what I'd rate it on a buddy action comedy scale. It was pretty important. It came out in the mid 90s. There weren't a lot of them, and there haven't been that much since. There's still plenty, but not like the 80s. Did it revive the genre? No, but it was a massive hit. It started Michael Bay's career. It started Will Smith's career, though I'm pretty sure both their careers were inevitable, even though Michael Bay has been on record saying he was about to quit Hollywood if this movie didn't work.
Right. Well, it should be noted too that oh, good.
No. Should be noted what?
Bad Boys 3 was the #1 movie of 2020, even though everything got shut down. But the movie still made $300 million. So, 25 years later, the series is still going strong.
And I haven't seen it, and I will say this made me want to see the new one. So I'm looking forward to watching it at some point. Yeah, I would have to give this. I mean, on a buddy scale, 4 out of 5. On a movie scale, 2.5, closer to 3 out of 5.
Yeah, the buddies action comedy, I give it 3.5 because I think it's worth checking out. It's action packed. The direction is good. The stars are fine. I wish they would have been a little funnier, just with a little wider. a little whiter, wink, wink. But I know they did. It wasn't not necessarily their fault. They didn't really have a script to work with. They just had to, wing it.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, it's also a very 90s movie. If you want to like see a movie that just feels extremely 90s, this is one.
Yeah, I'm also impressed by Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, even though they've done work and they're on TV and everything, for them to improvise a lot of this shit. I know it wasn't all improvised on camera. They talked about it. They basically wrote a lot of the dialogue, what it comes down to. So that's very impressive to me.
Well, and this is like too, like before this, like guys had always have a tough guy persona, like Schwarzenegger, Chuck Norris, Steven Seagal, before you became an action star. Like I kind of feel like this is one of those movies that, Beverly Hills Cop was still, I mean, it was their action movies, but they're mostly comedies, where this almost feels more of an action movie than a comedy. And to have like two kind of TV sitcom guys step into these roles and be believable in a big action movie, they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. What did you take away from this movie?
That you're a slightly bigger racist than I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all I was thinking about like the whole time.
Lucas is a racist.
Yeah, that's all my notes. It just says Lucas is a racist over and over, like Nicholson in The Shining.
All my notes are just wow.
Wow, Kenny thinks I'm a racist. And also that, I wish John Lovitz and David Tina were
I just wish they could have done the sequel and they were the partners that the Bad Boys, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, had to team up with.
Ooh, Bad Boys 4.
Yeah. And you know how I know
they'll come back. Parallel universe Bad Boys.
Like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They walk through the portal.
Yeah. Hello, Bad Boys.
I know the comedy aspects with the swapping of the Family Man and the I just said L like a million times, and the Playboy are definitely from the original comedy screenplay, is because all the future Bad Boys don't have any of that. There's no comedic set pieces or anything. It's just your full on action movie.
I'm pretty curious, what the script looked like before, like the script that they bought versus the final product. I wonder how much was left, how much was kept, or what, because I don't know, like this script didn't really stick out to me, or from what I could see, this story as anything really that unique as far as, that sounds like a great hook. The whole opening scene, the police station getting robbed is pretty neat and stuff, but like as far as the story, it just kind of this happens, it's over.
I think it's all Bay. I think it's all Michael Bay, and he deserves his career to take a movie like this and transform it to what it's become. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Thank God Martin Lawrence and Will Smith had a white guy around. That's what you're saying, basically.
Let's move on to fan mail.
Fan mail. Dear bigots.
Hey, we got canceled before we even got started, so that's pretty good.
We got canceled before Lucas. We'll survive.
Before we go, I wanted to ask you if you know about the movie called The Amateurs.
Is that the guys that make the porno?
No, Kenny. Jesus Christ.
No. Yeah.
Will you look it up while we're here? I wanted to talk to you about it while we're on here.
While we're on air, I'm going to do a search. Oh boy. Talk about being prepared.
Well, I wanted to surprise you with it. 2005. It is about porno. Yeah, you're right. That one. Yeah, you do know about it.
But I did know what I was talking about. You're like, no, look it up. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, it was Jeff Bridges, right?
Jeff Bridges.
What about
Ted Danson? What about Joey Padawan? Tim Blake Nelson, William Fichtner, John Hawkes, who
what's your point?
What is this movie? I found about it last night and I couldn't believe it. The cast is insane.
It came out like 2005. It was barely released. It's about a bunch of like small town guys that decided to make a porno movie. I think it got like okay reviews, but the cast was great. But like I don't think it didn't do anything basically.
Yeah, the story. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up. It's just something I wanted to bring up with you because you know every movie, like you knew this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they want to cast a small town in a porno and use the actual townie people. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff. Would you ever do something like that? You live in a small town.
Would I ever rally people to make a porno movie? No, because that's like something out of like if this was 1972, that would might make just a grain of sense. But now that it's not that old, that just sounds like the dumbest idea I've ever heard, and a good way to freak people out by going into proposing that.
I'm just trying to get you to do something creative because I worry about you.
Oh, that's your. What do you think this shit is? I'm just whistling Dixie.
This is fucking charity. This is me being there for a good friend.
Fred. Oh yeah. I figured. Well, it's mostly just to torture you with the Buddy Action Cop movies. That's mostly what it's about for me.
As long as we're both getting something out of it.
Yeah.
What are we watching next?
Have you ever heard of a book called Pigeon? Pigeon. Now, can you Google that? Google it. Google it right now.
If it's a real book, I'll do it. No.
I just no.
Pigeon by Kenny Lane. What would your book be about? What would your
we're not coming back next week because
no. What would your book be about? If you had a book and you named it Pigeon, what would it be about?
Well, I know two books named Pigeon. So my book named Pigeon would be about a pigeon that's also a robot.
Right, never mind. You can get to the ending.
It has
never
feelings.
And a cop who's a partner who hates robots and pigeons, and they have to team together
to make a porno. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're not doing next week.
Yeah, it's my 40th birthday.
Kenny turns 40. 40.
Megan has taken me on a surprise trip. I don't know where I'm going. This could be her putting a hit out on me. So if I go all Gabby Petito, everybody, you don't hear from me in 2 weeks. Just flood the offices with
guys. Don't worry about it. If he's gone, I'll keep the podcast alive. Don't worry about it. I'll just replace him.
You're listening to the Amateurs and Barbara Streisand and That's Racist podcast.
We're the Barbara Streisand Racist podcast. Welcome back.
Yeah.
I'm Lucas, still looking for a partner. If you're interested in partnering up,
give me a call. Okay, let's go to the phones.
Holy shit, there's 40 people waiting. All right, so no, next week we'll be back the week after that. We're thinking about doing Stop at My Mom Will Shoot.
Yeah. But supposedly Stallone's worst movie, which is saying something. And, for all you Estelle Getty fans out there, but we were going to do it for Mother's Day, but I'll be gone that week. But maybe we might do it anyway. We'll see. Or
we might do something a little bit more watchable, like Amateurs.
Yuck. Buddy Action Comedies. No, that's not working.
See you shitheads later.